Okay, James from Warrior Martial Arts Supply, here to show you one of our new products. What we have here is called a Wing Chun structure board, and this board is to help you with the structure of your footwork, your stance, and even the position of the hands. It's going to teach you the difference between yin and yang motions as far as strikes and blocking. In our system, we have what we call the arrow and the V. Some people call it the male triangle or the female triangle. And basically I'm going to explain the pattern on here and how it teaches you to be in the correct structure, for instance, for your blocking or striking or footwork. Okay, as you can see, you have two triangles, 1 and 2, and they're intersecting. The idea for this board is we had to compromise a little bit so it can accommodate two people if you're going to do chi sao. Now technically, the way this would work would be you'd have another set of triangles going from the yellow dots back to the corner, and it would kind of make like the Star of David. And with that pattern, it would be good for one person because you would have your V stepping if you were standing here, and then you'd have your arrow stepping if you were standing here, for instance, to take the triangle. Now, the way we did it will allow two people to step on the two white dots, which would be your neutral position for your stance, say if you're in Cho Ma. From there, you have the option to either step on the arrow, which would be the male part of the triangle, or the red dot, or you could step on the imaginary V line, which would be the two yellow dots on either side. There's a few different things you can do with this board. It can be used for solo training to work on your stance positioning, your footwork. It can be used for two people doing chi sao, which you're going to see in a minute. And it can also be placed underneath your wooden dummy for the same purpose of stepping on the arrow, stepping on the V, and you would basically place one of these dots directly underneath the center of your dummy, and you would stand on the two neutral points. Okay, a little bit about how this is going to train your stance is basically it's going to tell you where to step if you're stepping on the arrow or the V. For instance, if you're going to take the triangle, you would step on the arrow. All your yan punches and blocks would also be funneling on the center line towards the arrow, which would be the red dot. Okay, just a few examples for, say, yan and yin blocking motions. Basically, all your yan blocks are going to cut and go directly into the center line, which will again fall out right above your red dot. So again, the board is not only meant for placing your feet on the correct dots, but it's also aligning the hands in relation, say, vertically over the dot. So if you're going to do, for instance, a chain punch or a vertical punch, that's obviously going to be a yan motion. It's going to be on the center line, and it's going to be over the red dot. Same thing with your blocks. If you're going to do a bong sao, or if you're going to do a pak sao, that again is going to be a yan motion, which is going to be over your red dot. Or your other blocks like a noi jut, a tan sao, that's going to be on your V, or your female portion of the triangle, which would align and be directly over your yellow dots. So just a few examples. Let's say you're on the board and you're in a Cho Ma position. Okay, you can see the board is also teaching you proper angle, which is about 30 degrees. Okay, for example, in a Cho Ma position, you can see my feet are lined up with the angle of the pyramid, and you pivot on the heels on the dots, keeps you in proper alignment. Now, for example, if you're going to do a tan da, which would be a yin block and obviously a yang strike, the position of the hands lines up with your tan sao is over the yellow dot, so you know that you are on the V, which is going to make that a yin block. Okay, now we have the Wing Chun structure board placed beneath your wooden dummy. Obviously not all dummy stands you'll be able to use this on, but wall-mounted stands such as this or a traditional freestand where you're able to slip the board underneath, you'll be able to use this for that application. Basically, like I was saying before, the only triangle you're going to be working on here now is your triangle. Your opponent is the dummy, and the center dot is underneath him, which is basically the core or your opponent's center line. For example, if you're standing center to your dummy, okay, now you're able to use the triangle to funnel in to take the center line. Freestand where you're able to slip the board underneath, you'll be able to use this for that application. Basically, like I was saying before, the only triangle you're going to be working on here now is your triangle. Your opponent is the dummy, and the center dot is underneath him, which is basically the core or your opponent's center line. So, for example, now you have your triangle from your stance. You're able to come in, step,